police going and running their investigation and searching through all these rooms, looking under the beds, looking in the closets, looking into drawers, you know, and they go on the rooftop, right? They go on the rooftop and they walk around and they find absolutely nothing. So they did not notice that the water tank was open then.
Shawty wanna be me, and that's fine. Yeah, shawty wanna be me, and that's why I give these girls motivation. Look at me for inspiration. Yeah, you know it's true. Yeah, you know that it's true. But your girl can't do it like I do. But she tryna walk all in my shoes.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Raze here. If you didn't know, now you know, and that's legit on period. So I'm just so mad because like I literally just filmed this video and then my mic wasn't on at all. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So the playback, you couldn't even hear a word that I said. So now I have to refilm this whole thing again. So today's video, we are going to be talking about the Netflix recently documentary called The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. And if you don't know like the history of the Cecil Hotel, it is a hotel located in downtown Los Angeles where there has been numerous reports of deaths, paranormal activity, and the most popular case is the Elisa Lam story. Lam was a woman from Vancouver who came down to Los Angeles to visit, you know, be a normal 21-year-old, live life and experience, and she was staying at the Cecil Hotel. Apparently on January 31st, 2013, her family reported her missing. 19 days after her disappearance, her body was found in the water tank on top of the roof. She is mostly known for that video of her in the elevator pushing the buttons, and it looks like she was possibly talking to someone or something. And for years, many people have been invested in this case because it was something that just doesn't make sense. How does a random girl just end up going missing at a hotel? How did her body just randomly end up in a water tank? And what the hell was going on inside that elevator? So a lot of people started doing research and investigating and coming up with conspiracy theories and really trying to pinpoint who was responsible for her death. So I feel like the documentary did a really good job as far as talking about the history of the Cecil Hotel, talking about Skid Row, and even bringing in actual people who stayed in the hotel during the 80s and also during the time that Elisa Lam was staying there and was missing. But I do feel like this documentary did not need to be as long as it was. About an hour and a half or two would have been great instead of 4 hours, 4 episodes. I feel like it was a complete waste and it was just a money hungry type of deal. And they were just exaggerating like things on, you know, just it's at some point it started to become like repetitive, especially when they kept talking about Skid Row. So it was like they talked about Skid Row in the beginning, but then let's say somebody happened to say Skid Row again, then here comes this same guy come back and then he's talking about Skid Row all over again, and you're just like, dude, you said this already like in the beginning, why are you back saying it again? I just feel like the repetitiveness was not necessary. That would have saved so much time. And also, like with having the YouTubers played a huge role in investigating this case as well. There were so many people making documentaries or like doing their own research and helping, you know, trying to pinpoint situations and, you know, everything. But I felt like they could have just had one YouTuber, just like they had one couple come and talk about their experience there. Too many YouTubers, it was just enough, and it was like, okay. They could have just kept, like, what was his name? John Lorden or something, Larson. I don't know what his name was, because he was the one person that was continuously investigating this case. He created his YouTube channel because of the case. Him alone would have been fine. and it would just save so much time. And if they just would get to the point and say, this is what we did, this is what we did, this is what we did, boom, 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 our conclusion is X, Y, and Z, boom, we're done. So it kind of already sets you up to start thinking about what possibly happened to her. In the beginning, before watching this, I already had my theories about what happened to her. I thought maybe she saw something in that elevator, or whether it was a ghost, whether it was a person, whatever it was, it scared her possibly, or she felt like it was after her and she went inside the tank to hide. That is what I was thinking had happened. But when you're watching this documentary, it kind of starts pointing you into that direction, that, you know, possibly it was her own fault. Possibly she had an episode, and this episode led her to climbing the fire escape and then going inside the water tank. It was literally, you could feel it like going in that direction. What is this? What? Especially when they said she suffered from bipolar 1 or type 1 or whatever. It was like, okay, that's what they're going with. They're going to use her mental health as the reason that she is dead. That is what it is. Once they said that she was bipolar, I already knew that's where it was going, and that's exactly what they did. They felt like she had an episode, and she climbed up the fire escape, and she ended up going inside the water tank. Now, the things that only raised the question the most was, okay, how would she have got that lid closed? That wouldn't have made no sense whatsoever. Until the hotel maintenance guy comes and he says that he closed it. So when he originally went over there and found the body, it was open, but he ended up closing it. And then now that just shuts down all the conspiracy theories that had arose in the beginning. I do feel like, even though I do think that she went to go hide in that water tank, I do feel like the police and everyone was just kind of trying to rush this case and brush it off and just put all of it to rest. Because it's like, one, why years later you decide to finally come out and say, hey, this is what happened to her, instead of in the beginning when everyone was stressed and everybody was wondering and doing their research, and, you know, so many people wants to know why all of a sudden now we're bringing this up again. Like, it absolutely makes no sense. Also, do we really sit here and dismiss that the TB is basically named after her, or she's named after it, or whatever? Like, you can't keep saying certain things as a coincidence. So there was a huge outbreak of TB, but TB is also known as Lamb Elisa, and it's spelled the same way. What about the simple fact that that bookstore location or whatever is the exact pinpoint location of where her body is buried at? All these things are all dismissed. They all can't just be coincidences, all of it. I just felt like they just chose it was an accidental drowning because it was the one that made sense and that is stuck. And I feel like they don't know themselves either what happened to her. So it's like, we're putting this to rest right now by saying it was an accidental drowning. She climbed up there herself and she got into the tank. She had an episode, climbed up there, got in the tank, and then made excuses. Well, you know, there was no water in her lungs, but you could still drown and there not be any water inside your lungs. She took her clothes off because she wanted to reduce weight, and she also experienced hypothermia in there as well, blah blah. It was just like, I don't know, some of these words that they're saying is the same thing that has been brought up talking about the whole Kanika Jenkins situation. And it also leads me to believe that they're going to do the same thing with the Kanika Jenkins situation, even though that hotel also has history of deaths and organs being taken from people's body and people missing. Like, I feel like they're going to go with the narrative that she was drunk and she let herself to the freezer and it was an accident. Like, they're just going to be so quick to try to dismiss it and not look at everything as for what it is. I still don't really trust the police department, and I didn't trust the hotel manager. The moment they showed her, my thought about what happened to her definitely changed. I felt like this girl was involved. She was definitely involved in this because she appeared as she didn't care. She showed no emotion, her body language, and she seemed more enthusiastic to talk about the hotel and how great it is compared to, oh, we should find her body, or this is possibly what happened, or, it just seemed like she just didn't care. She lacked emotion. She was more obsessed with saving the reputation of this hotel opposed to let's figuring out why there's so many deaths that's taking place in this hotel. And yes, you can say and you can blame that this hotel is literally in the middle of Skid Row, and there's a lot of prostitution, there's a lot of homeless people, there's a lot of drug addicts, there's a lot of alcoholics, there's people who suffer mental health, who all stay in that area, or even staying in the Cecil Hotel, also known as Stay on Main, that all these people, something could have happened. That's why all these murders take place or whatever. I feel like, because let's be real, in downtown Los Angeles, people happen to go missing all the time there. I literally had a friend that I met on set who went missing. And I don't even live in LA anymore. This was last year. And everybody was hitting me up like, yo, have you seen such and such? Have you seen such and such? Have you seen? I'm like, no, I don't even live in LA anymore. Like, no. And she was a person who literally went missing. Her boyfriend definitely suffered from alcohol. He was abusive, And to think about it, there's so many children that's in that area, and it's not safe, and people are going missing. That is freaking scary. But I feel like it's easy to blame that stuff on people's mental health opposed to actually paying attention to the truth. And not all the time do I feel like we can simply just, oh, this person was bipolar, so this had to happen, or they had an episode, and it's just like there's a lot of things that happen in this world that just doesn't make sense. Like right now, the snow in Texas, but it's like, I don't know. I just feel like this hotel manager just seemed really suspect to me, and especially I was like, she did it. The moment that she called her mom after finding out that the body was in a water tank, I was like, the first person you call is your mother. Suspect much, because it's like, why wouldn't you call the police first? And even though you could say she's been cooperative throughout the whole investigation, yeah, there's so many people who are killers who are cooperative, but to take eyes off of them and to distract them. But I just felt like she just didn't care. She really just didn't care at all about anything besides the hotel. And I get it, she was a manager, it's her baby, and she invested a lot of time and stuff. But it's just like, I don't know. Something was off about her. That's where I'm going to leave it at when it comes to her. Now, the thing that it does show in here is how people get so invested and obsessed with, solving cases ourselves, that we do miss facts and we don't know all the information. And that was one of the things that I think one of the officers mentioned towards the end of the documentary is that people have their theories and they think they know, but they don't have the information like the police have. And obviously the police is not going to release all type of information, but at the same time, like, people wanted that closure in this case, and that's why people were also invested in this. And also that even though a lot of us, we don't know her, like majority of us don't know her, it still touched a lot of us in a sense of, wow, like that could have been me, or that could have been my sister, or you know what I'm saying? Like that was something that was very touchy. And this is not some type of things that happen on a regular. You don't hear stuff like this every single day. So that's why people really cared. And it's like, if you had all these facts and this information back then, why didn't you just come out and say it back then? Why now? Just to shut everybody up and to put this case to end finally? It doesn't seem convincing to me. And then also, like, they interviewed the sister, and this is where my question come in. The sister said that Elisa would act like that, how she was acting in the elevator when she would have her episodes. So my question is, did she say this in the very beginning, or did she wait to the end after the fact that the police realized, okay, well, she was prescribed 70 pills, but only this many has been taken, so that means she wasn't on her pills, she wasn't on her medication. So it's like we're under the assumption that she had an episode and she accidentally drowned, pretty much. Like she was responsible for her own death. And it's just that portion right there to me just doesn't sit right. Like all of a sudden the sister just comes and says that. I don't know, even the whole thing about the lid, like it's just so many questions. And the thing is too, like, the police said they investigated everywhere. They searched up and down this hotel, but clearly they didn't do a good job when they were on the rooftop, when they didn't find her body then, when they decided, hey, okay, oh, right, that's what okay, this is what I wanted to say in regards to the whole water tank issue, okay? So with the police going and running their investigation and searching through all these rooms, looking under the beds, looking in the closets, looking into drawers, you know, and they go on the rooftop, right? They go on the rooftop and they walk around and they find absolutely nothing. So they did not notice that the water tank was open then. They did not think to check the water tank. They did not see that this water tank was open. But this was all before the maintenance guy had went up there after so many people kept saying the water was brown and it tasted weird. He goes up there, he sees it open, and he sees the body, but the police missed that. Let that marinate. Let that marinate. With them saying that, oh, the water tank was open in the beginning and it shut down all the conspiracies, I feel like it didn't. It actually raised more questions to what happened to her, what really happened to her. And now at this point, it's starting to look like cover up for somebody or something. It just doesn't make sense. And it's not that people want there to be a killer. It's the fact that people know that it is something deep that's going on. Someone is involved. Someone has to be involved, because it still doesn't make sense. People know that there's more to the story, and there's still so much stuff that's hush hush, and the timing from when they decide to finally come out, which is like literally around the anniversary of her death and all this took place, and that's all of a sudden, hey, let's come out with this documentary. There's a motive, there is something behind why they decided to release it right now. Also, last thing too, it also shows how people like to point fingers and not really do that research, because I honestly felt so bad for Mormon, because Mormon was a guy who was an artist. He used to do music, hardcore music. It was like metal type, and he had the face paint and makeup and stuff on, and he made a video and uploaded it, and it said that he was at the Cecil Hotel. So people saw that video and then instantly pointed fingers at him, and then also go and look at his channel and listen to some of his music, and he has a song called China, which is about a woman that is drowning, that dies through drowning. And then we have the whole Elisa Lam situation, was a Chinese woman who drowned apparently, and now fingers are pointed at him. And people didn't pay attention and look at the day the video was uploaded, which was a whole year before this even happened. But they pointed fingers at him, and now he no longer does music, and he also wanted to kill himself because people were harassing him. Did he ever get an apology? No. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Guys, let me know your thoughts and comments in the comments below. Do you agree with this documentary? What are your thoughts? Do you think that there's more to the story? What do you think actually happened? Do you trust the hotel manager? Did you find a suspect? She called her mama. Like, let me know the tea in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, love ya.